What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy and we are here for our usual Friday Teamcoach video. We've got the round 17 preview. Things are looking very interesting. Coming off a week where we didn't have all that much go our way. We're really looking for a big one this week in the sense of players having outrageous games. Making the most of every single game mode this week is really what we're about, because we don't want to miss out on a single thing here. This is going to be a super tough one, but I'm confident, as I am and try to be before every single weekend of footy, but I'm just here to also enjoy it as much as you guys. So we've got a lot to talk about, a few changes here and there that I'm going to go through. But yeah, if you guys do find yourself enjoying the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everything as per usual, very much appreciated. Still on the drive to 3,000 subscribers. If you want to join and talk more, hit me up on Instagram, either through emails as well, and I've got my Discord in the description as well. But now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's get into the round 17 preview. Alrighty, so here we are. There's a few things I want to go through when we get to our teams as per usual, but I want to go with my tips first. I do not have any faith as per usual with the tips. A few things here that are like making me think, oh, I should go this way rather than that way. It really could go either way. It is a very tough week to guess certain things, but we've got ourselves some few and far between games where I think it's going to be easy for us to tell who wins. But even then, we find ourselves some way to mess it up every time. I think some of the most easy ones to tip are Sydney over St Kilda, even though for some reason I feel like the Saints could do it. We've got Carlton versus GWS, which I think based off of GWS form, Carlton's going to take it. And then we've got Adelaide, Brisbane, and even though GWS lost to Adelaide last week, I feel like Brisbane's form is just a little better right now, so I'm going to go Brisbane, but that could go the other way as well. We've got Freo, Richmond, so I'm going to go Freo there. I think Freo is going to take that one. Richmond's form, nothing too special. And then the rest, I'm honestly not too sure. And I'm kind of glad to say that, because one of them that I'm kind of worried to pick about is North versus Gold Coast. I think this is going to be the week, based off of everything so far this season, that I pick North Melbourne. It's at home. North's form has been looking pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be the right decision. Honestly, this could be their 100-point loss week. They seem to have one every year. And although we've had some big losses, I don't know if we've hit 100 just yet. All I know is it's going to be a tough one. North versus Gold Coast. And Gold Coast also have a very poor record away from home. So this being at Marvel, I don't even think they've won a single game outside of People First Stadium. So this game, I really need to keep the form. If Gold Coast wins this one, I'll definitely be upset. But at the same time, I think everything points to this being the best round for me to tip North Melbourne. Which is everything at the moment, from recent form to the matchups and storyline throughout the year for Gold Coast. Like, I feel like this is North's game to lose. But that's me having too much faith in my team again. Who knows? We've got ourselves Port Adelaide versus the Dogs. Port, I don't know what to think of them, man. They look like they should be really good and then have poor weeks, and then vice versa. They have some games where they shouldn't be doing as well as it looks like they should, and then all of a sudden they pop off and have amazing games. The Dogs, however, I always think, like, whenever I think of the Dogs, I think, will the players around Bontempelli show up today? That's what I always think. Obviously, a great midfield inside, but it's the forward line that I always think about. Sorry, the back line for Port Adelaide that I always think about. And the Dogs, like, do they have the damaging forwards that could do it? I think Cody's playing this weekend. They've got Jamara, of course. Honestly, I don't know whether the forward power of the Dogs, unless they put Bont down there, I don't know if the forward power of the Dogs is enough to beat the Powers' kind of lack of defense, and then everything else with the power I feel like is completely fine. So I feel like I'm leaning towards Port here, but the Dogs could take it. I'm going to go Port with this one. We've got Melbourne, West Coast, and everything in my head says Melbourne, but with the way West Coast usually plays against them, I think they beat them not that long ago up at West Coast, but obviously down in Melbourne. West Coast form been a little down now after their high start and their high form compared to what they were expecting. Harley Reid looking really good. He's been given the midfield start this week. I don't know. This could be a lot tougher than we all realise, but I think Melbourne still takes it. We got Geelong v Hawthorn, and I don't know how many people expected it, but this game is actually going to be a lot closer than we think, I feel like. Geelong looked amazing to start the year. We all had our opinions on Hawthorn as well to start the year. Hawthorn were looking a bit meh. But they have shot back up. Their form has been very good. This could go either way. I think I'm going to go Geelong here because it looks like they're starting to find their form again, pick themselves back up. A good win against Essendon last week. Obviously, a lot of debate around it, but a good win nonetheless. And then we got Collingwood v Essendon. Now, Essendon, obviously, and Collingwood drew the last time, the very, very memorable Anzac Day clash that ended in another draw. The first one since the inception of the Anzac Day game. But I think Collingwood takes this one. I think Essendon's form, it's not poor, but I think they're starting to really feel the effects of the season. I think they definitely could make it a fight, but I think it's going to go Collingwood's way. And those are the tips. Oh man, I wonder how many I'm going to get wrong this week. I'm imagining a load of upsets. I realize that it's probably going to be the case every single week, but you got to do some things here and there. You got to predict some. That's why I'm thinking North over Gold Coast. I think that's why I'm thinking a few others. Melbourne over West Coast, some may think. Some will probably even pick Hawthorn over Geelong. There's a lot that could change up here. Dogs over Power. There's so much you can work with there, but we're going to go to Star Powers now, and I'm going to quickly mention no change this week for the Star Powers. I realized in my head, I'm like, if I were to make too much change, then things could go poor. And I looked at matchups and I thought, this could go really, really well. Carlton are playing against a bit of a weak opponent this week. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it's West Coast. I literally just went through the tips, and of course, I messed it up. No, they're up against GWS, and I think the reason I put Paddy Cripps in there is based off of his really, really good players of late, and the fact that the GWS midfield have a few injuries going. They have, they're still good, but I think Paddy Cripps definitely, with the way he's playing, will be able to step up. He's been very, very good as of late. So I'm keeping him in, been really good last week. We're keeping Nick Martin in because he's probably going to be given that halfback role that he gets every now and then, and they're up against a Collingwood side that could very, very easily find themselves penetrating that forward line as much as they usually do, and Nick will be seeing the ball a lot. Errol, I'm giving him another go. They are coming up against, again, I mentioned this before, St Kilda. I don't know why I've forgotten all my tips already, but Errol against St Kilda, I reckon on that wing, he's going to be very, very deadly for the Swans off of a bad week last week. Hopefully it changes up. Max Gawn against the Eagles. He's playing the Eagles, and their ruckman is Bailey Williams, who isn't bad. I think he has had some good games, but Max should be able to have his way. Finally get a bounce back game. Just more than 9 posies, please, Maxi. That'd be awesome. And then Whitfield, again, he absolutely smashed it last week. And against those Carlton boys, definitely going to need to be used in that back line. He's going to be very, very necessary and very much needed. I don't know if 40 posies is going to happen again, but you see a lot of marks, probably a lot of that kick mark play in the back line. And I think if they go to that again, then he is going to be used a lot. So this silver lineup last week got me ranked 71 and 527. If we have a good Errol game and a good Max game, this could see the lineup go way over 600. I really feel like it could possibly happen. We had a really good Lockie Whitfield week. If he just has a normal one, if everyone here plays their normal weeks, we should have ourselves a plus 600, I reckon. Maxi Gawn and Errol Goulden especially. They are way off their average from last week. 30 and 40 points respectively. So if we just add that on top, it makes up the Whitfield. And if we have a normal Nick Martin game, you could say average is 106, we should have a good week. It's just about everyone hitting their really, really good averages. And it's obviously tougher the higher up it is. But we'll see how it goes. We then move into, however, Ultra Star Powers. Bit of a change here and there. So we have kept Max Gawn double points. We've taken out the Tom Green double points and put in Chad Warner. Again, this is the hope that they're able to run over the top of St Kilda. Chad Warner in that center position, he can find himself on the end of some goals. He's an aggressive player. Sometimes he does lack the disposals, and that kind of puts me out of whack, but hopefully a few goals to his name. Maybe hits a 30 posie game. He has the chance to do it. He always can, and hopefully it just works out well. Obviously, we mentioned Goulden. We're keeping him in. You can see there's so many good players to choose from, man. Dacos as well. Dacos is hard to stay away from, but Goulden, I reckon, based off of form outside of last week's game, they should have themselves a good week. I'm praying, at least, because Errol, it was very surprising to see you with 81 points. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Lockie Whitfield, I had to put him in. I feel like the fact that we missed out on his double points last week really, really messed us up. Even with 106 from Tom Green, 160 is just that much better when it comes to double points. So I can't miss out on that. I'd much rather have a 160 double points and a 100 than a 100 double points and a 37 like we had last week with Hayden Young. That's just not allowed. We just can't do that. I think with the way Defensive Dynamo is going for me at the moment and the lack of cards I seem to pull for Defensive Dynamo, like I'm yet to pull his silver. If I pull Lockie Whitfield silver, I'll be more confident to put double points elsewhere. But at the moment, Whitfield, he just has to be our double points, or at least one of 3 of our double points. I obviously would love Nick Martin double points. He can have awesome games. Gorn, I feel so worried taking him out of double points because the average is 120, man. That's so good if we can do it every week. And Goulden as well with the 150 the other week. My God, there's just too many choices. It's just a crazy, crazy year so far for Star Powers. I really want to get another prize card from here, but last week, obviously, bit of a poor one. The fact that we had ourselves a poor week from Hayden Young definitely ruined us in this department. So just hoping we've picked the best ones this week. We've got Jason, who actually did the, top 10? He got in the top 10 last week. You can see 8th there. So good on you, Jason. Jason Collectibles, if you did not know. I think Tiger's 11 as well. There's a bunch of people in here that look very, very familiar. So hopefully I can join you all very, very soon. But that is going to be Star Powers. Now we move to top team, and I'll quickly mention as well, no change for top 4. We are staying the same with top 4. I thought about Luke Ryan because he is coming up against Richmond, and although it's not going to go too deep into Richmond's offense, I reckon, throughout the entire game, I reckon Dacos is probably a better pick still. Ryan's been on a little bit poor form. I don't know whether it's going to stay like that. I don't know whether he's going to get those easy kick marks that he usually gets himself. That's how I've kind of found Ryan operates. He loves that easy kick mark. So I'm thinking either him or Hayden Young is going to explode in the back line, but I'm not too confident on Ryan just this week. I feel like Richmond aren't going to have that many opportunities down back, and I don't know how often that ball's going to land in Ryan's hands because he's not a very hard ball getter, it looks like. It looks like he's more of a kick-out guy, more of that kick mark, easy slow-down play and switch it up. When they really need it, he goes off, but I just don't think that's going to be the type of week. I think Fremantle will have their way quite convincingly, so I've stuck with Dacos here. Same here with midfield, and same here with forward. Stuck with both the Sydney players. Heaney just, he's had a really rough couple of weeks, but it's just about sticking through it. I realized that the last few weeks I've made changes and then they explode, like it happened with Cozzy Pickett. He had him for 2 weeks and he just exploded when I took him out. So I'm sticking with him this week. Not with Cozzy Pickett, but I'm sticking with Heaney because a poor week, sure, but he is a midfielder for the Sydney Swans, and that is very under what he usually does. A game against St Kilda, again, I reckon should be pretty good for him. Same for Errol. Both of these guys up against a tough opponent in Fremantle last week. Now a bottom 4 side, you'd think that they have a better game. And then same with Gorn. Poor game last week. Was thinking about actually chucking Sherry in again. I'm so excited. I'm so happy I can say that, man, because Sherry is playing out of his skin this year. So happy for him. But Maxi Gorn is up against West Coast. Not as many players, and just not the matchup problems that he's had over the last few weeks. He's struggled a bit more against the other teams like Brisbane. Big O managed to lock him down pretty well, and Danaher, the switch up there too. They were able to slow him down a fair bit. So this week with Max Gorn up against less of a difficult opponent, I reckon Max will have a better one. But that's why I've stuck with everyone here. I'm just sticking through it. And I'm hoping it pays off because I don't think we're that far ahead in the leaderboard here at the moment. Rank 1 still, but I just don't know how much space we have against everyone else. You can see this person only 400 away from us. I think you can see that. I hope it's not too far on the right of the screen, but they are about 400 away from us. So we need to keep putting up good weeks. We cannot afford 350s. We need 400s every week. And then not only 400s, much higher than 400s. It'd be awesome if we can do that more often. But we're going to top 18 now, and a few changes. Kind of sticking with the theme of not changing up too much. I think the back line for the most part is untouched. The only one I thought about was this Bailey Dale switch up for Luke Ryan, and I still may make that. I'm not too sure. I'm really concerned to see if Bailey Dale ends up having his usual game. I think the fact that he got 89 is not too much of a surprise. Up against North Melbourne, 89 is not bad, but I also think 100s are very much needed in this game mode, especially for backmen now. You can see lots of 100s. I could really use them. So Bailey Dale out for a potential Luke Ryan high 100. Like, they both can do it. It's just about getting them at the right time. And same reasoning for not having Luke Ryan in the top 4 is why I don't have him in the top 18. Don't know if he'll be needed that much. compared to the Dogs up against Port, who I reckon will be needed a bit more. But all the others are staying. Like Newman and Whitfield topped last week. They definitely get to stay. Dacos is Dacos. He's been having some good form as of late again. Sheasel been starting to drop off, and maybe we'll switch him out soon. I'm not sure. I hope he has another good one. He has remained very important for the Roos as long as he's been playing pretty much, but he could see a switch out for Ryan. And then we move into the midfield. We've got Walsh and Cripps. We switched out, who was it again? I think it was Neil for Cripps, and we've also got Dunkley in for Merritt. Merritt has just been a bit too safe now. 100, I think it was around for his score the other week. We got Zach Merritt 89 even. That's not what we want to see. We want to explode with the players, and I reckon this is a lineup that could work. Also, conveniently, there are a lot of the high averages. You can see Merritt though, he's been dropping slowly. I think, yeah, the averages are just starting to not go his way as we've gone on throughout the year. But Bont stays and Goulden stays and Walsh stays. Those are pretty much the only ones that have stayed. Then we move to the forward line and just the two changes. We're keeping both of the Geelong forwards and taking out both the Carlton forwards. So that could confuse a lot. Let me just kind of explain. The deep forward system that works for Carlton works in terms of their game. I think they are very, very dominant in playing their roles. They just don't get the team coach scores that I've been hoping unless they have amazing games. And like, they've been playing well as a team, but they haven't needed to absolutely explode with touches. It's been like lots of goals, but surprisingly enough, goals don't do all that much if you're not getting possessions to go with them. So we've gone with Jackson because I know he can go into that ruck position a few times, and they are up against, I can't remember. That's it, Richmond. Fremantle are up against Richmond. So Jackson should be able to get some touches, some goals, and a nice mix of everything against an opponent like that. Same with Rankin though. He's been getting a lot of touches, 27. If we can do that again, just amazing. And then that's why I've got Myers and Cameron, because they also go up the ground a bit more. Same with Danaher. They got hit, like these guys all find themselves around the ground, getting the ball a little bit more than those big forwards do. So hopefully this is a thing that works out. So that's all I can really hope for. This team last week got us at rank 77, 1675 with Love and 1800. 1800 is always what we aim for. Not many had them last week, so if we can do it this week, it could get us some really, really good results. It's just tough to make changes at the moment. There's just so many good players and you want to stick with them and move them out all the time. It's just so hard to find the right balance. And I'm hopeful that I'm not in a bit of a purple patch, if that makes sense. I want to try and make sure that we're on target this week. Anyways, that is the rambling of me done. I am stressed out of my mind for how the results go this week, as you can probably tell. But that is the nature of Team Coach this year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, drop a comment down below. Let me know, what is your team looking like? What are you hoping to get? Because we're coming to the end of the season as well. Like, let me know where you want to finish at the leaderboards by the end of the season. I know for top 4, I want to be first. So let me know, what are your goals? That being said, thank you so much for watching. Again, leave a like, subscribe. Everything is always very, very much appreciated. I'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye.